Hey, this is Mark Rodriguez.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez.
And this is Angel, snooping as usual.
こんにちは、忍者ジュピです。皆さん、いつもお世話様です。本当にありがとうございます。
And this is Ninja Panda 1980.
And this is Brian from Another Terrible Idea.
Wow, there's a lot of us in this episode, and it's cool to see Brian again.
That's right. In today's episode, the gang's all here because we're going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Shredder's Revenge.
The new Turtles game? This is going to be awesome. Let's check it out.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge came out this past June 2022 and was made by Dotemu, the guys behind Streets of Rage 4, and Tribute Games, the guys behind Scott Pilgrim vs. the World game. That already tells you this was going to be good. The game was released for the PlayStation 4, the Switch, the Xbox One, and PC gaming.
This game allows for up to 6-player action, and this time other than picking the 4 turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, you can also pick Master Splinter and April O'Neil. Looks like after all this time, April finally learned how to kick some ass. If you beat the game once, you also unlock Casey Jones.
The crew has a lot of attack moves this time around. Other than their regular attacks and the jump attacks, the turtles can still grab the foot soldiers and then slam them back and forth or throw them towards the screen just like in Turtles in Time. You also have a super jump attack whenever you press the attack and the jump button simultaneously, and you can hold the attack button for a few seconds and then let go to deliver a much stronger attack.
You also have super moves that take up a considerable part of the screen, attacking everything in your way. You fill up an extra meter every time you attack the enemies, but you lose meter if you get hit before you can fill it up completely. Your character can also taunt to refill the meter. You have an air attack where characters slam down on the enemies. That also requires stocks from the attack meter.
In the game's story mode, you can replay the stages and level up your characters. As they level up, they get more attack moves and they can refill more than one stock on the attack meter. If you make it up to level 8 and hold the taunt button, you enter Radical mode that makes you stronger. The arcade mode plays more like the classic Ninja Turtles arcade game. You have to beat the game in a single sitting, and you have limited lives and continues. You don't have multiple attack meters or the Radical mode.
And what's a turtle game without pizza? Not only do you have the standard pizza, which restores your health, there's an extra large pizza as well, which restores the health of your entire team. There's an attack pizza, which makes you spin around and hit everything on the screen. And finally, there's the infinity pizza, which fills up your super meter non-stop, lets you keep doing super moves until a timer runs out.
You have 16 stages or episodes to get through as the Turtles try to stop the different members of the Foot Clan from grabbing pieces of Krang's android body and putting them back together again.
Stage 1 or Episode 1 is titled Jawbreaking News, where Bebop has taken over the Channel 6 building. You fight your way through foot soldiers as you make your way to the mutant warthog. Episode 2 is Big Apple, 3 a.m. 3 p.m., where you take to the streets fighting foot soldiers and roadkill Rodneys. And then the boss for the stage is the mutant rhino Rocksteady.
Episode 3 is Mutants Over Broadway, where you ride on cheapskates to fight the bad guys in a high-speed chase. The bosses and Bebop and Rocksteady driving a big vehicle called the Turtle Tenderizer.
Episode 4 is Rumble in the Zoo, where you have to avoid rampaging animals as well as your standard enemies. The bosses are the combined forces of Ground Chuck and Dirtbag. Episode 5 is King of the Spill, where you go to the sewers to fight mousers and face my favorite enemy, the Rat King, and his loyal army of rats.
Episode 6 is Mall Meltdown, where the crew hits the mall full of foot soldiers. It probably has my favorite theme music from the entire game soundtrack. I mean, just check out this part right here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, damn, music. You didn't have to slap so hard, but you do. Anyways, The boss here is Tempestra, the video game villain, who actually summons up Toka and Razar from TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze to help her fight.
Episode 7 is Roof Running Reptiles, where you jump across the rooftops and finally get to take on Bebop and Rocksteady at the same time.
In episode 8, Panic in the Sky, you give chase to Wingnut on modified flying cheapskates before fighting the alien Bat himself.
Episode 9 is Crisis at Coney Island, where you fight these annoying black foot soldiers that block and counter your every move. The boss is Leatherhead. In episode 10, a few screws loose, you fight your way through a warehouse and fight Metalhead, who is being controlled by the Shredder.
Episode 11 is Dinosaur Stampede, as you fight in a history museum that's full of Triceratons led by Captain Zorax. In episode 12, It Won't Fly, takes place in a lab full of traps and robots. The boss for this one is the mutant fly Baxter Stockman.
Episode 13 is Technodrome Redux, where you fight in what's left of the Technodrome. Looks like it was pretty busted up after Turtles in Time, or maybe Hyperstone Heist? Either way, here you fight against General Trag as the mid-boss, and later on you face the actual boss, Chrome Dome, who's pretty much indestructible. In episode 14, The Lost Arch Enemies, you fight your way through Dimension X and all these weird creatures like these mutant pizza things. The boss here is Slash, the evil turtle from Dimension X.
Episode 15 is Outworld Strangeoids, where you finally face Krang and then the Shredder himself. But the fight is not over yet. The final episode, Wrath of the Lady, has you fight Krang in an altered version of the Statue of Liberty, and then you face the final boss of the game, the Super Shredder. Shredder is so determined to get his revenge, he turns into Kevin Nash to take you down.
So here are my thoughts on the game. This game is fucking awesome. It's one hell of a love letter to the fans. But wow, like one of the best possible examples of these guys really doing their homework is the battle against Chrome Dome. It's like a double callback. First of all, in the cartoon episode where Chrome Dome first appeared, they explained that Shredder and Krang made him out of adamantium. No joke, I don't know how they got that past Marvel, but he was made of adamantium and he was completely indestructible, but they ran out. There was a hole left in the bottom, I guess like his lower back, and they just covered it with steel because they figured no one would know, but April was watching, so April knew, and she told the Turtles, and that's how they got defeated, you know? And yeah, so in the game, Chrome Dome is completely indestructible except for his lower back. Only when he exposes his back is that when you can hurt him, so that's fucking clever. But on top of that, Chrome Dome also jumps towards the screen and you have this kind of like behind the view or whatever, this first person view from him, and the only way you can hurt him is by throwing the foot soldiers towards the screen, which is of course a very clever callback to the Shredder battle in the SNES version of Turtles in Time. That's like a double callback right there. That's just fucking amazing, and kudos to you for making that particular boss fight, you know? Now, unfortunately, the game isn't all perfect. There is one little flaw here, one big flaw actually, and only for the PS4 version for whatever reason. So, in any other game, the Xbox version, the Switch version, PC, and stuff like that, you can have like a mixture between local play and online play. So in other words, Johnny and I can be playing the game together, but then we can also have other online people jumping in and, you know, playing along with us. Now, for whatever reason, only in the PS4 version, you can do this. You can either have online play, or you can have what they call couch play with your buddies, but not mix and match. And I don't know why. Again, it's weird because it's only the PS4 version of this. You can do this just fine on the Switch and the Xbox. And to make it weirder is that though Temu is kind of like ignoring that from the fans, like all their social media are talking about like they got some DLC here and there about, you know, bug fixes and power balances and stuff like that. I guess some characters are a little too cheesy with their combos and things like that, but every time someone asks a question about, okay, but are you gonna fix this issue for the PS4 with the, you know, online play mixed with the local play, and it's like no comment. They're just ignoring it. So I don't know, guys. But other than that, the game is perfect. It's super awesome. It's a lot of fun. If you're any kind of Ninja Turtle fan, especially from the old, you know, beat 'em ups and stuff like that, and of course, a fan of the 80s cartoon show, definitely pick this up. This game for me was a first day buy, and yeah, you let me know what you think.
All in all, this is a great game. Beat 'em ups can get stale very quickly, and there's a reason why this whole genre kind of died out for a very long time. Until nostalgia-based revivals like this, Streets of Rage 4 and River City Girls kind of help bring it back. But Shredder's Revenge keeps the stages fresh and well-paced, and the graphics for all the characters and stages are top-notch. I love trying to see how long I can get a hit combo and keep juggling foot soldiers and Mousers. It's fun in the single-player mode, it's a blast in multiplayer, and it's great for both new and returning fans of the Ninja Turtles and of belt-scrolling action games.
Overall, the game was really fun to play, especially once you got a hang of all the combos and varieties of attacks. It was even more fun when you have friends by your side playing with you. Something that really stood out was the soundtrack. They had 2 members from the Wu-Tang Clan, Raekwon and Ghostface Killah, contribute a verse to the song We Ain't Come to Lose.
This game really hits you in the nostalgia feels hard if you grew up during the original Turtle Mania era when also beat 'em ups were still a thing in arcades. It was even more awesome that they managed to get some of the original cast to reprise their roles, like our main 4 turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady. This game has a good mix of elements from the older games like Turtles in Time, Hyperstone Heist, the first arcade game, the Manhattan Project on the NES, even the first NES Turtles game, just to name a few, and I enjoyed that a lot, especially with the enemies that they used for it, like Ground Chuck and Dirtbag. I mean, how often do those 2 pop up? I also enjoyed they incorporated, Byrne, Vernon, Irma, and then having to do side quests with their characters. It gave the game like a lot of replay value because you can go back to check the boards to look for the things that you could have missed or you're trying to find for those characters. As for the gameplay, well, the controls, they were easy to get, it felt kind of natural. And since I have a Switch, I played it, both docked and, undocked, and using my own controller when it wasn't docked. But if choosing, I do kind of prefer the docked mode, but that's more for nostalgia value as opposed to just actual gameplay. It's like going back to the past and playing, these older games on a home console like the SNES or the Genesis or the NES. But the controls, even in the portable mode, they were easy to get as well. And I feel that anyone who picks up this game, they'll be able to, just get into it without any problems at all. Because, like the original games, they were always pretty easy to do the controls with. So, I think this game has a good balance. They're not focusing on trying to make it too modern. I think most fans can get into this, and if you have children, I think introduce this game to your children and say, hey, this is what I used to play when I was younger, only slightly newer, but this was the style and this was the thing. It's a piece of history to me, and I think they did a pretty good job with this game.
My thoughts on the game, it's an incredibly fun game to play. Definitely, just like the classic, does bring back some nostalgia being at the pizza place and playing the 4-player arcade game. Plus, it's got a couple of elements that kind of feel like the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World game, which I both had a lot of fun with. Really good fun game. I definitely insist that you guys pick this up.
Well, I can't say too much because I haven't played the game, but it does look great and has many references to the classic show. It gets extra points for having the original voice actors for the Turtles as well as Bebop and Rocksteady in the game. That's something not even the original Konami arcade game did. It looks like an amazing and fun game, and it sounds like the rest of the BGM really loved it.
Alright guys, so that wraps up this episode of Video Game Masters. As always, this is Mark Rodriguez here.
And this is Angel, snooping as usual. See you guys next time. I'm probably going to get me some pizza after all of this.
And this is Ninja Panda. Nice to be here.
そして、Ninja Jupi です。And when it comes to this game, regardless of the version, if you're worried about playing, I would like to share these wise words with you. 案ずるより有無が易し。ではまた皆さん。
And this is Brian from Another Terrible Idea, and wow, this is a really packed episode. Always nice to see a few new faces around here.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cowabunga.